Hey, we're glad that you're with us for our time of prayer. Every week we've been getting together. Pastor Penny's done some, and I've done some, and we just talk about prayer. We've got time, right? We're in shutdown, many of us, and our lives are different. And even those of us that are working at home, our life is different. And there's times for prayer. So, by the way, tomorrow night, 6:30, tomorrow night, we don't know how this is going to work. But we're going to have the world's largest prayer meeting. We've got 500 rooms. 500 rooms. And so you will get an invitation. If you're on our list, you'll get an invitation. And there will be an invite at the bottom of it. And if you click on the invite, about 6:30, 6:29, 6:28, 6:32, somewhere in there, you click on it, it will take you to a room. And there will be lots and lots of boxes. And when you speak, everyone will be able to see you in your box. It's called Zoom. And I believe you don't have to download anything. I believe you get the invitation and you click it and it will set you up. And we're going to be together, and it's going to be a simple 1 hour together. We're going to introduce who's in the room. No one's got to pray out loud. Don't worry, unless you want to. We're going to share some prayer requests. And then after that, we're going to pray. Take 1-minute prayers and just pray together. So that's tomorrow night. It'll be the largest prayer gathering in the history of Brockport Free Methodist Church, and you could be a part of it. So let me encourage you. Hey, this is going to be really short and simple today. Last week we did practical prayer, and I thought we're going to do a little more practical prayer today. So here's some practical keys to prayer. One is just get along with God. Get along with God. Like, you can pray when you're in the midst of other people, but get along with God and pray. Jesus withdrew often, especially after he taught or he was involved. So you have a heavy day at work or an intense time with the kids, because the kids are there, right? You're doing this parent teaching thing. I don't know how you're doing it. Bless you. My kids are all out of the house. I have 2 grandkids that are over the house almost every day, but that's it. Anyways, Jesus withdrew. He'd get done teaching or preaching, or he'd be with a crowd and maybe healing, and he would get away. Luke 5:16, Matthew 14:23, Luke 6:12. 3 good verses to look up. Jesus got away to pray. And if Jesus thought it was good to get away to pray, it's probably good for you and I to get away and pray. To be alone with God. And we are called to be, in the Bible, in the Greek it says to be little Christos. And little Christos means that you and I are to be imitators of Christ. Imitators of Christ. So if Jesus thought it was good to go and get alone with the Father, it should be good for you and I to go and get alone with the Father. Number 2 is pray without ceasing. 1 Thessalonians 5, it talks about Jesus said, pray without ceasing. That means to allow your day to be an ongoing conversation with God. Just throughout your day. Whatever comes up, pray for it. An ambulance drives by. You pray for the EMT workers. You pray for the person in the ambulance. You pray for their family, that God would just be with them. When you're in your home and one of your kids takes a fall, if you got a little one and their knee is hurt, stop and just say, Lord, help little Susan with her knee. It's this constant conversation that's going on without Jesus throughout the day. Pray without ceasing. Number 3 is time. And time sometimes is confusing. I've been doing about 20 to 25 minutes of prayer every morning, which is, for me, it's good. It's really good. And yet I get this little whisper sometimes like, Andy, if you were a really good Christian, if you were a good pastor, you'd pray for 30 minutes. And I know what happened. If I did start to pray for 30 minutes in the morning, then I would get this little thing saying, if you're really good, you'd pray for 35. Because real good Christians pray for what? 35. You get this. It's this. You can't keep up with it. The enemy accuses us. Like, Satan is known as the great accuser. So if you pray the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Right? You just pray the Lord's Prayer, right? And it's 35 seconds. So like Jesus isn't saying, the answer to this is a long prayer, right? He's saying it's time. It's this praying without ceasing time. Interestingly, in one of the accounts before the Lord's Prayer, Jesus talks about a guy whose kid is crying at night. You go get it yourself. Anyways, the Lord's Prayer is very short. It's very short. It's not long. But it's the time that we give God in our day. It's that praying without ceasing time. time is like oxygen in a relationship. If you're married or you're dating somebody, if you cut time off, it kills a relationship. Time is like oxygen. And the same is true with our relationship with God. Time is like oxygen. It's how we spend time with God. And if we reduce time without oxygen, you can't breathe and it dies. Number 4 is giving thanks and giving praise. The first word out of the Lord's Prayer, Jesus. The one we're to imitate. The one we're to follow. He says, Our Father who art in heaven. And then what does he say? Hallowed be thy name. See, we address God intimately, but we address him with adoration and praise, remembering who he is in our life. Like, he's God. Whoa, he's God. He's the creator of all things, so we give him praise. And then the last point is, Corey and Donner in this room, they noticed that I had run out of paper on this pad when I was working on this. The last one is number 5. Listening. You know, this is actually, stay right there. Just stay right there. I want to get this here. When you're talking to someone you care about and you're going through a rough time, and I would say in prayer sometimes too, to do this, sometimes it's good to have an idea and you just have this cup in front of you. And your job in that conversation is to just allow your spouse or your kid or the person you're dating, or if you're in high school, your parent, like, when's the last time you just said, as I talk to them, I'm just going to have an empty cup and I'm just here to let them fill it. Well, sometimes we need to come to God and we just need to say, Lord, I'm going to be still for a while. And I just want you to speak to my heart. I haven't heard audible voices, but God has nudged my heart so many times. And you just say, God, fill this up. Instead of me taking my cup, filled, and just fill this up. By the way, how does God speak to us? He speaks to us usually through his word, primarily. He uses other people to speak to us. And he uses the Holy Spirit. Sometimes we're just still before God and we go deeper. And he's, well, my mind's going to wander. That may be part of what God's filling your cup with things that your mind's wandering for. And we lift them up in prayer and we listen to him. So, hopefully we'll see many of you tomorrow. Well, we actually will. We'll see each other tomorrow night, Thursday night, 6:30. You should get an email, church-wide email. You click on it, open it, and there will be an invite to Zoom. Usually there's a longer one, and then the invite's actually the second one right there. Click on that, and we'll see you tomorrow night. God bless you guys. We miss you, and looking forward to those of us that can be a part of tomorrow night.